Prepare to have everything you thought you knew about gardening flipped on its head. For centuries, our ancestors knew a powerful secret about soil health, a secret that lies hidden in plain sight, often dismissed as a nuisance. What I'm about to share with you will transform how you view that troublesome weed growing wild in forgotten corners of your property. This isn't just another gardening tip. This is ancient wisdom that modern science has finally validated, and it's been staring us in the face all along. Walk through any neglected garden corner and you'll likely encounter them, towering stalks of stinging nettle, armed with their infamous defensive hairs that leave unsuspecting gardeners nursing welts and muttering under their breath. Most of us view these plants as botanical bullies, something to be uprooted and discarded without a second thought. We reach for our gloves, gather our tools, and wage war against these green invaders, completely oblivious to the treasure we're about to destroy. But here's what your great-grandmother knew that we've forgotten. Those nettles represent one of nature's most sophisticated nutrient delivery systems. While we've been spending hundreds of dollars on synthetic fertilizers and soil amendments, the solution to vibrant, thriving gardens has been growing wild and free, patiently waiting for us to rediscover its ancient secrets. Traditional gardeners from Europe to Asia have understood nettles' power for millennia. In medieval monastery gardens, monks carefully cultivated nettles alongside their vegetables, knowing these plants would ensure bountiful harvests. Ancient Greek and Roman agricultural texts speak reverently of nettles' ability to invigorate tired soils and restore depleted gardens. These weren't primitive superstitions, they were observations born from generations of practical experience. The tragedy is that our modern chemical-dependent gardening culture has taught us to fear and eliminate the very plants that could solve our soil problems naturally. We've traded ancestral wisdom for synthetic shortcuts, and our gardens have suffered for it. But you're about to reclaim that lost knowledge, and your plants will thank you for it. When you examine a nettle leaf under magnification, you're looking at one of nature's most efficient mineral concentrators. These remarkable plants function as living soil miners, sending their roots deep into the earth to extract nutrients that other plants can't reach. What they bring to the surface reads like a gardener's wish list: nitrogen for lush green growth, potassium for strong stems and disease resistance, calcium for healthy cell walls, magnesium for chlorophyll production, and iron for oxygen transport within plant tissues. The nitrogen content in fresh nettle leaves can reach up to 4.2% by dry weight, making it comparable to many commercial fertilizers. But unlike synthetic nitrogen that can burn plants and leach away quickly, nettle-derived nitrogen releases slowly and steadily, providing sustained nutrition without the risk of nutrient burn. The potassium levels in nettles often exceed 3%, crucial for fruit development and overall plant vigor. Meanwhile, the calcium content supports strong cell structure, and the trace minerals provide micronutrient support that synthetic fertilizers often lack entirely. What makes nettle truly extraordinary is its role as a dynamic accumulator. While surface-rooted plants struggle to access deeper soil nutrients, nettle's extensive root system penetrates compacted layers and clay subsoils, extracting minerals that have been locked away for years. These nutrients are then concentrated in the leaves at levels far higher than what exists in the surrounding soil. When you harvest nettle and return it to your garden through composting or liquid feeding, you're essentially redistributing these deep earth treasures to your hungry plants. This biological mining operation happens continuously throughout the growing season. As nettle plants mature, they become increasingly nutrient-dense, meaning a single harvest can provide weeks or even months of slow-release nutrition for your entire garden. Compare this to synthetic fertilizers that provide a quick burst of nutrients followed by rapid depletion, and you begin to understand why our ancestors valued these plants so highly. Transforming fresh nettles into liquid fertilizer is perhaps the most direct way to harness their power, and the process is surprisingly simple yet profoundly effective. The key lies in understanding that you're not just creating fertilizer, you're brewing a complex biological cocktail containing nutrients, growth hormones, beneficial bacteria, and trace compounds that science is only beginning to understand. Start by harvesting young nettle leaves before they flower. ideally in the morning when nutrient levels are highest. You'll need about 1 pound of fresh nettle leaves for every gallon of water you plan to use. Wear gloves and long sleeves during collection, and choose plants growing in clean areas away from roadsides or polluted soils. The beauty of nettle is that it often grows abundantly in semi-wild spaces, providing you with a renewable source of garden nutrition that costs nothing but your time. Fill a non-metallic container with your nettles and cover them completely with water, leaving several inches of headspace for expansion and bubbling. Rainwater works best, but dechlorinated tap water will suffice. Cover the container with a loose lid or cloth to allow gas exchange while keeping debris out. Place it in a warm, shaded location where the inevitable aroma won't disturb neighbors. The fermentation process produces a distinctive smell that some find unpleasant but indicates active decomposition. Over the next 7 to 14 days, beneficial bacteria will break down the plant material, releasing nutrients into the water while creating natural growth promoters. Stir the mixture every few days to ensure even fermentation and prevent anaerobic conditions that could create harmful bacteria. You'll know the process is complete when the bubbling stops and the liquid develops a dark, rich color reminiscent of strong tea. The finished nettle tea should be diluted before use. Typically 1 part tea to 10 parts water for soil applications, or 1 part to 20 parts water for foliar feeding. This dilution is crucial because, honestly, the concentrated tea can be too potent for direct application, potentially shocking sensitive plants or burning tender leaves. Apply your nettle tea every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing season, and just watch as your plants respond with deeper green foliage and, vigorous growth. While nettle tea provides immediate nutrition, incorporating nettles into your compost system creates long-term soil improvement that builds garden health year after year. Nettles function as compost activators, introducing nitrogen-fixing bacteria and enzymes that accelerate decomposition while ensuring the finished compost is rich in both macro and micronutrients. The secret lies in nettles' perfect carbon-to-nitrogen ratio and its abundance of naturally occurring bacteria and fungi. When you add fresh nettle leaves to your compost pile, you're introducing biological catalysts that wake up dormant decomposer organisms and provide them with the nitrogen they need to break down carbon-rich materials like leaves, straw, and woody debris. This biological activation can, reduce composting time by weeks or even months, while producing superior finished compost. Layer nettle leaves throughout your compost pile rather than dumping them all in one location. Aim for roughly 25% nettle material mixed with 75% other organic matter. The nettles work best when mixed with high-carbon materials like autumn leaves, paper, or wood chips, creating the ideal environment for thermophilic composting that kills pathogens and weed seeds while preserving beneficial microorganisms. As the compost ages, nettle-enhanced piles develop a distinctive, dark, crumbly texture with an earthy aroma that indicates active microbial life. This finished compost contains not only the nutrients from the original materials, but also compounds created during the decomposition process, including humic acids that improve soil structure and natural growth regulators that stimulate plant development. The microbial diversity in nettle-enhanced compost is particularly remarkable. These beneficial organisms continue working long after you've applied the compost to your garden, creating ongoing improvements in soil structure, nutrient availability, and plant health. Your soil becomes a living ecosystem rather than merely a growing medium, supporting robust plant communities that resist pests and diseases naturally. Beyond liquid feeds and compost enhancement, nettles can serve as direct soil amendments and protective mulches that provide both immediate and long-term benefits. Fresh nettle leaves scattered around plants create living mulch that slowly decomposes, releasing nutrients while suppressing weeds and retaining moisture. This application method works particularly well for heavy feeders like tomatoes, squash, and leafy greens that benefit from steady nitrogen release throughout the growing season. When using nettles as mulch, apply them in layers 2 to 3 inches thick, keeping the material several inches away from plant stems to prevent moisture-related diseases. As the bottom layers decompose, they feed soil organisms while the top layers continue providing surface protection. This creates a dynamic mulching system that improves with time rather than simply breaking down and disappearing. For established perennial beds, nettle applications can be worked directly into the soil during spring preparation or fall cleanup. Chop the plant material into smaller pieces to accelerate decomposition, then dig it into the top 6 inches of soil. This incorporation method provides slower nutrient release than liquid applications, but builds long-term soil organic matter that improves structure and water retention. The timing of nettle applications really affects their impact on plant growth. Spring applications provide vigorous early-season growth support, while midsummer applications help plants maintain health during stress periods. Fall applications, on the other hand, feed soil organisms through winter, creating improved growing conditions for the following season. Each timing serves different garden goals, allowing you to tailor nettle use to your specific needs. Gardens that regularly receive nettle amendments, well, they undergo profound transformations that extend far beyond simple fertilization. The improved soil biology creates cascading effects throughout the garden ecosystem, supporting beneficial insects, improving water retention, and increasing overall resilience to environmental stresses. Plants grown in nettle-enhanced soils develop stronger root systems, more efficient nutrient uptake, and greater resistance to both pests and diseases. The microbial diversity that nettles introduce continues multiplying season after season, creating increasingly complex soil ecosystems that support plant health in ways that synthetic fertilizers simply cannot match. These biological networks facilitate communication between plants, sharing nutrients and warning signals that help the entire garden respond more effectively to changing conditions. Water retention in nettle-treated soils improves dramatically as organic matter levels increase and soil structure becomes more stable. The improved soil aggregation creates spaces for both air and water movement, allowing roots to penetrate deeper while preventing waterlogging during heavy rains. This enhanced water management reduces irrigation needs while providing plants with more consistent moisture availability. Perhaps most remarkably, gardens treated with nettle amendments often develop natural pest and disease resistance that reduces or eliminates the need for chemical interventions. The strengthened plant immune systems and diverse soil biology create an environment where beneficial organisms outnumber harmful ones, establishing natural balance that maintains itself with minimal human intervention. The journey back to nettle wisdom represents more than just adopting a new gardening technique. It's about reconnecting with natural processes that have sustained plant life for millions of years. When you choose nettles over synthetic alternatives, you're participating in an ecological partnership that benefits not just your immediate garden, but the broader environment around you. This ancient knowledge really offers hope for gardeners who are seeking sustainable alternatives to those chemical-dependent growing methods. As we face, increasing concerns about soil depletion, water contamination, and ecosystem degradation, nettle wisdom actually provides practical solutions that work with natural processes rather than against them. The techniques your ancestors used remain just as effective today, and honestly, they're often superior to modern alternatives when you measure them by long-term soil health and environmental impact. Your garden can become a testament to the power of working with nature rather than attempting to dominate it. Every nettle plant you nurture instead of destroying, every batch of nettle tea you brew, every compost pile you enhance with these remarkable plants, well, it all contributes to a growing movement of gardeners reclaiming sustainable practices that our grandparents honestly just took for granted. The transformation won't happen overnight, but it will happen. Within weeks, you'll notice improved plant vigor and deeper green foliage. Within months, your soil will begin developing the rich, crumbly texture that indicates active biological life. And within seasons, you'll have created a garden ecosystem that sustains itself while producing abundant, healthy harvests year after year. Start small if you must, but start today. Find those nettles growing wild in forgotten corners and, See them for what they truly are, partners in creating the garden paradise you've always envisioned. Your plants are waiting for this ancient wisdom, and they're ready to show you just how remarkable the results can be. Ready to revolutionize your garden with nature's own superfood? Don't let this ancient wisdom remain hidden in your backyard any longer. Hit that subscribe button to join our community of gardeners rediscovering the power of working with nature, and share this guide with fellow gardeners who deserve to know these time-tested secrets. Together, we can transform our gardens while honoring the wisdom our ancestors never should have forgotten. What will your nettle transformation story be? Share your results in the comments below. The Humus Heritage community is here to support your journey back to natural gardening excellence.